This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not shouting, "Badia" at city council meetings, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Treat yourself and your loved ones this holiday season at Africatown's Soul Holiday Market, featuring dozens of Black-owned businesses selling locally produced gifts and products, along with food trucks, music, and more. Bring your friends and family to Pier 62, December 11th and 12th, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Hosted by Friends of Waterfront Seattle and Africatown. Details at waterfrontparkseattle.org.
Greetings. This is your host, DJ Naftali, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, the best DJ in the Seattle area. You can catch me every Monday at 8 p.m. on YouTube. Like I said, this is DJ Naftali, the best reggae in Seattle, Washington, the best radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Come on, right?
Kind of nonsense conversation are we having here?
The Neon Ghost Show. The Neon Ghost Show. Right here on Rainier what's it? Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Right about now.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world. I'm so tired. I have to pee.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at rainieravenue.radio.world.
You're listening to Heartbeat Radio. I'm your host, Cindi Bright. Heartbeat Radio is a conversation aimed to take the pulse of corporate America. Opportunities for people of color, we're getting lost in the shuffle of change. I'm that provocateur of change. The hearts of corporate America are addressed. Access and opportunities will be accelerated for all people. Through Heartbeat Radio, you will gain a deeper understanding of what is necessary for change. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Heartbeat Radio. I am your host, Cindi Bright, along with my co-host, Joy Stanford. Welcome back, Joy. Let's see if we can bring her in. Hey, how are you this evening?
Oh my gosh, it's so great to see you. I've missed you so much, and it's so great to be back with you.
I know I miss you too. We are just in the throes of a lot of chaos right now, aren't we?
We are. Life is chinging, and life has changed a lot for both of us. So we are doing what we can to stay afloat. So
totally. We're back to the conversation on education, and I wanted to set the stage a little bit about this. I periodically have different conversations on air. We periodically have different conversations on air about education, because education is literally the key to every piece of success for Brown and Black people. No matter how you cut it, education is the entry point into anything. Jobs, opportunity, access and opportunity, right, for all people. And so, I think on a personal level too, I think most people know my story, maybe not, about what my own family went through to get my son into some higher education, and to make sure that I'll call it the pattern changes, or the trajectory changes for the future of our families, these next generations, and making sure we start to create wealth and the things that we need to have as Black families. And so it's incredibly important. Even for me, I graduated at 50 years old when I hadn't even had a shot at education. And so it was not an option for me per se till I was older in life. And so my fight for this issue, my continuing to highlight it, is because I personally feel that not only does the data show across this country about how we're failing Black children from education, but it doesn't really feel like it's a top priority, at least in this state, from my perspective, about ensuring that Black kids have access to education. I think it's talked about on the peripheral. I think there's some funds that go into public education, but I'm not talking about this from a money perspective. I'm talking about this from an outcomes perspective. Do you have a perspective about that, Joy? You ran for office.
We both ran for office and we both had education as part of our platform. And we've interviewed educators and we've interviewed elected officials who are supposed to be worrying about our Black and brown kids. And we know that that's not happening. It is a touchy subject for me now. I'm not substituting anymore. I know I saw Representative Jamila Taylor post something today about the mental health state of our kids here in Washington, really across the country. Some kids are not having a problem doing online schooling, and then other kids are. And then the kids who are in school have to deal with rhetoric from communities around stuff we're not teaching. So we're not teaching what they are accusing us of teaching, because we know it's only at the higher level education that is being taught, and have to deal with the fact that people are so worried about these masks and all things like that. So here's my thing. I've always said, as a substitute teacher, kids could care less that they were wearing masks. That's number one. They were the best people to wear masks because they wanted to be in class and they wanted to be in school and they wanted to be around their friends and they wanted to be around their teachers. And, what I've seen of late is that teachers are just loving on these kids the best they can and holding up the best they can, while more and more pressure is being put on them. I've been told that teachers are not supposed to give bad grades right now. Why are we lowering the standards in the midst of a pandemic? Because we're in a pandemic? No, we need our kids to be resilient. They are resilient already. Let's stay at that level and let's set that standard. In our house, I'm sure is in your house, because we've kind of got the same background, which is just amazing to me. We went to school, college late in life, and in our household, the standard was very high, and it was almost unacceptable to bring a B home. I would accept it, but you had to tell me why you were getting a B. And so both my kids were like, I'm getting a B plus, Mom. But if we don't set that bar high, how are those kids supposed to aim for that?
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue, Joy. That's a great segue.
It's a good segue, yeah.
It's a good segue because we have some guests here with us tonight. We've actually brought students on with us tonight, and we've brought a parent on with us tonight because we are fascinated to understand what's happening in our schools. And so from the Rainier Valley Leadership Academy, let's welcome in Aaleyah Poindexter-Leuelu. Hi, Aaleyah.
Hi.
Did I say your name correctly?
It's Leuelu, like the last one.
Leilulu.
But other than Leuelu.
Leilulu. Okay. Oh, I'm never gonna get that, Aaleyah.
That's okay.
And let's welcome in. We have another student here with us, Alphonso Bell Taylor. Let's welcome Alphonso in. Hi, Alphonso.
Hello.
You are both students at Rainier Valley Leadership Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. All right. We just want to talk to you about how things are going for you at the academy. How is school going this year for you?
Let's start with you, Alphonso.
This year I think it's going pretty well. I've had a few challenges, and I've had to transfer schools this year. I think some of the many challenges I've had to face are maybe transportation for getting to school.
Okay. Are you guys familiar with how to use this technology? Our producer is asking if you could lower your cameras a little bit so we could see your faces. There we go.
There you go.
Aaleyah,
Yeah.
there we go. Awesome. So the challenges that you're speaking to, you were talking about transportation. And did you transfer from one school to Rainier Valley Academy?
I transferred from Akikarosi to RVLA.
Okay, got it. Got it.
And that was because was your school bus not showing up?
Yes, my school bus wasn't showing up.
And we all know that there is a serious shortage on school bus drivers right now. But that's not a job that pays a livable wage. So understandable.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. I love that you use the word challenge. Like, I got over that. I found a solution around it. I love that, Alphonso.
There's a good parent around Alphonso, and I understand you have his aunt here with us tonight. We have two parents, but before we bring them in, I just want to, let's talk to Aaleyah here to hear, Aaleyah, what is your experience like at the Leadership Academy?
At Rainier Valley Leadership Academy, I've had like a really amazing experience with all of the teachers and the students. It's just a really amazing community there, and it's very welcoming, and it's one of the best experiences I've had with education.
What grades are you guys in?
I'm in 7th grade.
7th grade.
Alphonso, what grade are you in?
6th.
6th grade. Okay.
The best years. I loved middle school.
And when you do, both of you, like Alphonso, you went to Akikarosi, you said before. So are you able to compare the difference in the two schools for you when you were at Akikarosi versus how things are going for you at RVLA?
I think at Akikarosi, since the classes were kind of shorter, I think now that I'm at RVLA, I can learn a little bit more than I could at Aki. I also think that the community, like Aaleyah said, there's a good community at RVLA. And I think maybe Akikarosi, the school is okay, but I think they could do a little bit better.
That is a very tactful way to say that. I love it.
Did you know Miss Joy is a substitute teacher?
And we all know how kids love substitute teachers. Aaleyah, how's it been going for you? Like, what's your favorite class?
I think one of my favorite classes is English, because our English teacher, she has like a really nice vibe when we're in the class, and while we're doing work, relaxing music really helps us focus on our work, and so she plays it for us, and it's just very nice.
Where did you go before you were at RVLA?
I was at Seattle Girls School.
Okay.
All right. And so what's the plan, Aaleyah? What's your plan past high school? Do you have one? Any particular college you're looking at? Okay, any particular one?
No, I haven't looked that far yet.
Cindi would tell you Stanford. I will tell you Stanford. For both of you and Alphonso. Oh, Alphonso, we lost Alphonso. But it's okay. But there he is. But No, I think you should start making your list now. 7th grade is not too early.
And
Okay.
one of the things you both have said in your own ways is you're talking about community around you
Mhm.
at the school. Can you talk more about what you mean about having community around you? Alphonso, what does that look and feel like for you at RVLA?
For me, it looks like people getting along. I think maybe people being kind of friendly to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and there's not really anything bad going around
Mm-hmm.
in our community. And then I'd say, what was the other question again? Because I know what it feels like.
Yeah, just kind of looks and feels like. I'm not a school teacher, so I might use the wrong words when I'm trying to ask the questions. But it's interesting to hear you talk about because what you're describing for me is safety. So do you both feel safe at school?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's an important part of getting your education, is that you have a safe place to be and learn, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Do you feel like you're heard by the teachers? Say if you're struggling, do you feel like you're heard by your teachers and administrators that, hey, I'm struggling, I need help? You feel like you're heard as a student?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Is this a public school? I don't know anything about this school, so.
It's a charter school.
Is it mostly, are the kids that go there, do they mostly look like you both?
Yes.
Yes. So you get to be around other students that look like you in a safe environment with teachers that care about your well-being. Go figure. Go figure how that is actually contributing to advancing education, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you are as a student, like you are challenged? Like it's not easy, it's not like overly difficult, but you are challenged to do more and to strive to be better. Do you feel like that at this particular
Yeah.
school?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have transportation to get to the school?
Yes.
How do you get there?
My parents would usually drop me off at school.
Okay.
Same with you, Aaleyah?
Yeah, Aaleyah. Yeah.
Aaleyah, sorry,
My mom.
Aaleyah. Your mom. Okay.
Yeah, my parents would drop me off.
What's your favorite subjects that you guys take that you enjoy?
For me, it would be maybe all three of my classes: mythology, Washington State history, and mathematics.
Mythology, Washington State, and mathematics.
Yes.
There's an answer.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you like about mythology?
For me, I think what I like about mythology, I think we get to learn about a lot of things that happened back then. Like we get to learn about different gods, different people, how they all worked together and what they did as a community.
Okay. Wow.
Aaleyah said she likes English the most.
Yeah. Another class that I do really like is Washington State history as well, because our Washington State history, we are actually learning about the real things that are happening in our world and in Washington State instead of it being sugar-coated. And I feel that we are being more, oh my gosh, I forgot the word, involved in trying to figure a solution for the problems in our state and in our world.
Wow.
All in Washington State history. I don't know what to say. I'm like, that is amazing.
At your age, and the fact that you're, the word you said, it's not being sugar coated. I love that. You're learning the truth and you learn how to create solutions for the problems that exist for people that look like you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow.
Did you either of you go ahead, Joy?
I was going to say, is this a class? Because if Alphonso's taking it in 6th grade and Aaleyah is taking it in 7th grade, wow. Because over here where I live, it's not taught till 9th and 10th grade.
We'll have their. Go ahead.
It's Washington State history is taught from, I believe, 6th grade to 8th grade. And then when you go into high school, you're taught world history.
Okay. Love it.
It's so fun.
Wow.
Alphonso, what would you say to other students or other families that are considering coming to RVLA?
Well, I would say that RVLA is a great school. It feels safe. There are lots of kind people there. It's just a great place to go to if you're looking to transfer schools.
Were you happy about transferring from Aki Karosi?
Yes, because I got to meet lots of other new people, and I get to meet different people who look like me.
Is there sports in your school?
Could you repeat that, please?
Are there sports in your school?
Yes.
Do you play sports?
Yes.
What do you play?
I do bowling, basketball. I do roller skating, if that counts as a sport.
That's a sport.
Okay. I do ice skating, and I do golf, and I also do snowboarding.
Wow. That's a lot. You stay busy, don't you?
Are there any other extracurriculars you fit time in to do besides that? Any of the arts?
I know that we have after-school programs at our school.
Okay.
Aaleyah, are you involved in any extracurricular activities?
I am in the after-school program as well.
What does that entail?
So after school, we have different topics or different places that we can go, like hair, cooking. There's journaling. And then on Wednesdays, there is Project Girl, which is a mentorship for girls to go to just be yourself there.
Okay.
Do you like that girl one for girls only? Talk more about that. What goes on in that space for you?
It's basically like a mentorship for girls that go to the after school program. We do different activities. We journal and we just have fun and talk about us and how we feel. And yeah.
It's such an important thing, right? To have a safe space to
As I was
be able
gonna
to
say.
talk about our lives and to share or hear other people's stories that are experiencing life in either the same or different ways than us, and the development that brings to you.
That must be absolutely exhilarating to be able to have that space. What Cindi calls safe, I'm going to call it brave space that you have.
Brave, yeah.
Yeah, that the school create that for you all.
The after school program, yes. and the different companies that come in.
How many kids do you have an idea how many kids go to your school? No. Okay.
Look it up.
What are the grade level? What is it through high school or does it include high school?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Does RVLA, I think Joy might be looking it up. Does it go all the way through high school?
Yes.
Yes. So you can go there before you head to college.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Alphonso, I know you're in the 6th grade, and it's a big question to be thinking ahead to 12th grade, but do you ever think about college and where, or if you want to go?
Yes, I thought about going to college. I was thinking about maybe going to a university and college, maybe to get a degree for baking.
Baking?
Or being an artist.
You like the arts. Do you like to cook?
I like to cook and sometimes make pastries with my mom.
You like to make pastries. Well, that sounds like a great mom. Helping you make pastries. Joy, did you find something about RVLA you wanted to ask?
I am just amazed by the school itself. I'm like, wow. And for you all to come on here and just be in conversation with us, it's just blowing my mind here. So
we really wanted to hear from, like how you all got impacted during the coronavirus, and now that you're back to school. Were you guys out for a long time and having to work from home?
Yes.
How was that?
For me, it was a little bit sad because I didn't really get to see my friends or interact with other people at school. So, like in person, even though I would have done that, I didn't get to. So I was kind of sad that I didn't get to do that.
Is that how it affected you, Aaleyah?
Yeah, because I think it's important when you go to school, you should get the education and you should be able to socialize. And so it's a whole different experience when you're online versus when you're in person.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to tell? Were you at a different school? We didn't ask Aaleyah. Were you at another school before? Okay, so were you able to? Okay, that's right, the girls' school. Were you able to communicate that to your teachers and your administrators when you were at that other school? Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Did you enjoy the girls' school?
Yeah, there were a few things that I think is different here at RVLA than at Seattle Girls School.
What's an example of what's different there?
Well, at RVLA, a lot of people feel comfortable being themselves and not getting judged by being themselves. So, for me, example, I'm able to just be myself and not have to worry about what other people are going to think about me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was at Seattle Girls School, that was a different situation. I didn't really, it was a different.
Did you feel like you had to fit in?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is certainly really, really interesting to talk to you.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break. And so there's a 3-minute commercial break. So just stay on with us. Don't go away. And then in the second half, we're going to bring your parents on, or your aunt and your mom on with us, because we are going to love to hear what their experience has been as your leader, guardian, parents, to try to get you educated. So hold tight for 3 minutes and we'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Half that up in sacks, I favor black businesses. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenueradio.world.
If you or a family member are 55 or over and need nursing home level care, but want to keep living where you are, check out Providence Elder Place PACE. This program offers healthcare, housing, transportation, and recreational activities. There are no copays or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. Providence Elder Place PACE works to keep you healthy and in your home. Call 206-320-5325 or visit providence.org Elder Place. Providence.org Elder Place.
Hello, listener. What's important to you about what's going on in your community? Are you interested? Are you concerned? In any case, I invite you to tune into my show, Seattle Here and Now, on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Why? I will be covering a wide range of topics important to you and impacting the community. Each show will have a special guest or guests to share with you information on a variety of subjects that are happening here and now in Seattle. I promise I will work hard to make my show informative, interesting, and entertaining. Be sure to listen to Seattle Here and Now on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Yo, what's good? It's D-Money, and you should definitely check out Fresh Juice every Wednesday, 9 to 11 Pacific, right on Rainier Avenue Radio.
With pint-sized Patron, P-Treasy to Don. Y'all be sure to clean your mirrors as we play brand new hip-hop and R&B from locals and worldwide.
It's ID Yourself, aka Malcolm Flex. Make sure you check out Fresh Juice every Wednesday Pacific Standard Time from 9 to 11 p.m.
And to get those exclusive interviews that we be doing,
sipping a brand new fresh juice every single week.
Yeah, every Wednesday, 9 to 11, Rainier Avenue Radio.
Yeah.
Come get your holiday shopping off to the most unique start with shopping in Columbia City's historic Columbia City Theater. Rainier Avenue Radio is hosting our first annual Holiday Bazaar and Party on Saturday, December 11th from noon to 5. This Holiday Bazaar will feature a wonderful selection of vendors with their handcrafted items, rare, one-of-a-kind gift creations, desserts, resources, and more. Come shop at the Holiday Bazaar and stick around for holiday merriment, live musical performances, appearances by Santa Claus and Frosty the Snowman, and your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio on-air personalities. That's Saturday, December 11th, noon to 5 at the Columbia City Theater. Shop local. Rainier Avenue Radio's first holiday bazaar.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at rainieravenue.radio.world.
That up in sacks, I favor black businesses. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo.
Welcome back to Heartbeat Radio. I am your host, Cindi Bright, with my co-host tonight, Joy Stanford. We were having the conversation here with our students, Alphonso and Aaleyah, and what an interesting and insightful and pleasurable conversation to have with the both of you. You guys, this is a great conversation, and we're so happy to have you here with us live on air, on camera, so we can let our community see and understand why we need options for education in so many ways. I want to welcome in on the second half along with you. You both have some parents here. So we have Alphonso's mom, whose name is Christine. Let's welcome
Come on camera, Christine.
Hi. Hey there.
Scoot the camera over so we can get you both in the square. There you go.
And then we have Britani, Aaleyah's mom. Britani is on also. Let's see. There she is. Hi, Britani. Hi, Christina. Thank you guys for both coming on with us. Were you listening in the first part when Joy and I were talking about why this is so important to have this conversation with our community?
Yes.
Yes. Can you talk to us about your experiences as parents with obtaining education for your students here in the Washington State?
We'll start with you, Britani.
Sure. That has been a very interesting experience, particularly having a child that's a little bit more, I've navigated more challenges, noticing that she was ahead of most students, but not really getting the accommodations that she needed as an advanced student. So having to advocate for her in the public school system and transitioning from that space to public school, thinking that it was going to be better for her, which it was academically, but emotionally it was not the best. So pivoting from that and then finding RVLA, which has just been both, great academics and a wonderful social life for her just because she can be herself. So the two combined have created a much healthier student.
Mm-hmm. Christine, what has your experience been?
We went from being in elementary school and I think not really having that opportunity for Alphonso to grow with the other children, and then just putting him into the middle school, and then being around so many other kids. I think it was a little much for him, being around a lot of kids, as well as the transportation being an issue. That was a big issue for us as parents. But him being in a smaller school and being able to be himself and being heard, and me, myself, being able to be heard and listened to, and him getting these different opportunities after school, these different programs that they're offering, that I'm seeing him grow in different ways, socially, academically. But I think if I would have kept him in the public school, it would not have worked out for his personality and who he is. And at times he can be shy, and then at times he's very outgoing, but I like him to be outgoing all the time. And I feel like he gets that opportunity here at RVLA to express himself and just be himself. It was a lot going on, and it was just like the first couple weeks of school, just so many kids and being out of school, and I just being together in such a big space, and it was just a lot for us.
He is, he knows himself.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how he comes across. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cindi.
Mm-hmm.
Great young man. Absolutely is going to be a leader. Both him and Aaleyah going to be leaders amongst themselves and their peers. You have nothing to worry about, Mom. He is obviously in the right space he's supposed to be in.
No doubt. I have no worries at all. And even talking to his mentor at the school, at the school he was at, he didn't have a mentor. And even talking to him, he's telling me a lot about Alphonso and how he's able to be himself, and he knows he's able to be himself. And he's at the door when it's time to come inside. He's at the door, one of the first kids at the door waiting to come inside. So I think he's growing a lot.
I feel like many people don't understand the massive advantage and opportunity that putting children in other options of education than just public schools. They don't understand the significance or don't attach the value to it. the way that it's actually contributing to Black lives and young Black children. And when I heard Aaleyah just talk about even having the space where she can go in and talk and not feel like she has to, in my words, walk on eggshells, or some of the things Joy and I have had several elected officials on, or candidates for office, when we talk about education and hearing what's actually happening in the public school system around prison pipeline and all the things that are happening there for kids. Would Britani and Christine, would you both agree that there is a stark contrast between the public school system and being able to have this option for our kids to go through and thrive and propel into the world?
I do.
Definitely. The biggest problem that I noticed when I was advocating for my daughter was that there's just not enough care to be provided to all those students. I just don't feel like there's enough teachers for students. They're not enough. It's just clear that it's not created to be a space where students can really thrive and be who they are. So if you're not a parent that's able to be involved in actively knowing what's going on in your kid's life every day, then they kind of fall through the cracks.
They do, and I appreciate the fact that we have the people of color in charge, running things. And
your principal is
fun to see, in public schools. We're not seeing a lot of Black teachers there teaching him. And when he was bringing his papers home, and all I was seeing was Caucasian teachers on the introducing themselves.
It's scary. It's scary, right? It's scary knowing what, us as moms, there's 4 moms on this in this meeting right now. As moms, we all know what the world bears for our children. And so we know the lens of which our children are judged, the way that our children are, graded, profiled, all the things that go along with not having teachers of color. And so the people, I've heard a lot of conversation about it, and some people think, well, if we just put more money, or look, we got COVID money, so let's take the COVID money and let's put it into the public school system. But what people are failing to understand is that that money is still going into a system that is propelling more white teachers and not producing, and for all the right reasons, because, as Black women parents, I don't know if you all identify as Black. I'm making an assumption there, but we know that what's going to happen to our lives and their lives if we don't have options for our kids to go someplace different. That is a fact. And so, it's not even a debatable conversation. I'm just really hopeful that by our community and by our listeners, that you're able to see and hear from our students what their experiences are and why this is so important to start prioritizing education for brown and Black kids.
Yeah. And I think what we've all experienced, because it sounds like all of our kids have been in the public school system. While there are some great teachers there, some of my best friends are teachers, and they are great teachers, and they teach culturally responsive teaching. But there's so few of them, if you understand what I mean. Mm-hmm. And so if there's an option for you to have this space, this brave space for your student, I say take advantage of it. And obviously it's worked out for these 2 students, Alphonso and Aaleyah. Give us an example, Britani and Christina, of one of your challenges at the public school level that you're not experiencing here at RVLA.
Just knowing what's going on with my student in the public schools, they're not really detailed with. You get a progress report and it's very generic. It's like a general note for all the kids of the classroom. It'll say whether they're, meeting or exceeding the expectation, but don't really get, an in-depth look at what your students' progress is. And at RVLA, I mean, I talk to Miss Carol pretty much every day, who's the principal, and her teachers will update us every week and let us know, your students' progress and their attendance, all of that. So we're kept in the loop because it's a small community. We're seen and heard, and we're kept in the loop. We know what's going on with our kids.
For me, I think the seen and heard is a big thing for Alphonso and for myself. But like when I was reaching out to the school, it was taking days for me to get a response. When I go pick up my son, somebody's running outside trying to talk to me and tell me something about my son. And thank God it's always something good. But the communication is so much better. They make themselves available. If I text, if they text me, we're texting right back until whatever is resolved. I really appreciate that communication and keeping me updated on Alphonso. What's going on? They're out there greeting his dad, his brother. Like, we're all being able to meet everybody there and communicate with everybody on a consistent basis.
Wow.
I think that's very important because when you're reaching out to the school and nobody's getting back to you, it's like, and you can't even go in there. Like right now, you're not even allowed to go into the school.
Right.
So I'm appreciating these leaders and the mentor, just everybody being able to come outside and talk to us and just getting back to us and letting us know what's going on.
I love that. I have a girlfriend who's going through that right now, and it took several days for the school to get back to her at just a public school, middle school, for a kid who's never in trouble. Her daughter's never in trouble, and she figured it out. She went to the school and she figured it out, and so definitely wasn't her kid, but we figured it out. So I understand your need to, when you say days, to have anybody get back to you and
I think it's
seen and heard. Yeah, it is. It really is. You're right. It is.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, there's so much pressure being put on teachers. It's like we something needs to be done. And my thing is, when I was thinking about charter schools, Cindi, when we were talking about this a year or two ago, was why can't public schools just act like charter schools?
Well, it's an interesting topic because it it's a, I don't know if you want to call it taboo topic, but it's a critical topic because the education is it's the foundation of everything else. And so if we're not focusing on the education for our children and we're still regurgitating the same system and funding the same systems that are not helping our kids, we just continue to set our community back. And so, this is an important topic. And, Joy and I, for 2 years have been talking about all this. And initially, Joy wasn't quite lined up with where I was thinking about this. And then we went to a conference together, Joy and I, and we got to listen to leaders across this country who are fighting for education reform. And so Joy and I got back on the plane together. We're like, we're in, like, we need to help this issue because our kids are suffering. Now, my heart is so warm. I'm looking at Aaleyah smiling here as I think she thinks she's in church right now when she hears me talking. But such an important, so important that we can't stress it enough. Aaleyah and Alphonso, I'm going to come back to you now. As you're listening to these women, like, who are these two women talking to me? And then you hear your parents talking about what's important to them and what they're trying to help you do. What are you thinking as you hear us all talking about this?
Well, my mom, she keeps me very educated on this type of stuff with our education. And she shares how hard some of the things like in education are with me. And so I'm just trying to listen to you guys and what you guys are saying and your guys' experiences in education as well. So
You're going to make a great mom someday after you're 30. And you have 2 or 3 degrees.
Alphonso, what are you thinking as you hear us, all of us moms up here talking about how important this is? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that you guys are all trying to support us as students, and you guys are all working very hard to get us a good education. And you guys are the most important people and the people that do the most.
Well, that is such a sweet thing to say.
Is everyone listening?
Thank you.
Alphonso just said we're all important. Hello, I'm important. But what about your mom? Do you feel like, Alphonso, do you feel like your mom is too involved, or you're like, nope, she's right where she belongs?
She's right where she belongs.
Good answer.
Mm-hmm. He knows. I'm a teacher as well.
Oh, see,
So,
yeah.
I know the job is hard.
Yeah. How about you, Aaleyah? I want to make sure I say that right. Aaleyah, how about you? Because I know it's hard. My mom and I did not have a great relationship when I was in middle school, but I look back on it and I think she was right there for me. So, you know, too much, too little.
Oh
Perfect.
no, my mom is doing exactly what she needs to do to support me as her daughter, and I appreciate all of it. I'm so thankful and grateful for it.
Well, you see, I'm here for all the tea. Love it. Love it. And I have to say, Brittany, I love that you persevered through her being at Seattle Girls School. I went to a girls' school for summer school. And by the time summer school was out, I told my mom, I was like, I don't think I want to go there for regular school. And this was in California. So there was a definite haves and have-nots and kids of color. And some of my friends went on to this school. I'm not going to say it out loud what school it was, but it was an all-girls school. And they did very well, but I knew I was not going to do well. So kudos to you for really recognizing that she was having some issues and you stepped in and was like, no, this is not working. So was that experience enlightening for you, or was it just something like, I got to do this?
It was a little bit of both, because I felt so confident that was going to be the best for her after leaving the public school system, just because at that point I was so focused on the academics and meeting that I was willing to at least explore what, diversities or challenges we would face. But in the first year, it was just very clear that that's not going to work. So then the next reaction was, she has to get out of here. So that was it.
The social aspect of an all-girls school is hard. It is very hard. And I can't even, and this was, Aaleyah, this was before the internet. This was before social media. This was before cell phones, and it was hard. So I can't even imagine how hard it was for you. I can't. So,
and for Aaleyah and Alphonso, I'm older than your parents, both of your parents, I can tell.
We are.
Yeah, we're older, and I wasn't able. So, when I grew up, education was not something on the forefront of my family's mind about us. Like, I was raised to survive. And so my upbringing was to be able to get a job. And the long story short is, for most of my professional career, I faced a lot of adversity because I didn't have a college degree. Now I do now, but I graduated at 50 years old. And so I'm telling you that story because it's so important that first off, you guys are so blessed to have parents that are advocating to make sure that you get access to every option to get yourself educated.
Yes.
And even though, you know, I firmly believe in post-secondary education also, because I have watched, if you Googled me or look at what my background is, I spent 30 years in HR, in corporate, and I'm here to tell you that people of color have a much more difficult challenge from an earning power perspective to be able to earn money, always paid a lot less. And what's happened is that tide has turned with the rates of education, particularly from Black women, on how it's rising for secondary education. And so I'm just saying that to you both as you, I don't know, you're always welcome to come back on the Heartbeat, but I want you to hear from these two older women that we've been there too. We fought, we have grown children. My son is almost 30. My son graduated from Stanford, and I'm telling you that because for somebody who had nothing from me, I made sure I'm Britani and I'm Christine. We did the same things for our kids that your parents are doing for you. And so I hope that you recognize how blessed you are to have parents, and how blessed we have Rainier Valley Leadership Academy is one of our options for our kids to go to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want you guys to start your list. Start your college list. 5 colleges right now. By the end of 8th grade, because to me, that's middle school, you've got 5 colleges. It might change when you get to high school, but you've got 5 just in the back of your mind. In the back of your mind. I started buying college books for my kids when they were in 5th grade. Crazy. I was the crazy mom. So
even if it's an arts college, like FITM, you know, down in Los Angeles, like things, Alphonso, you mentioned, you like the arts and cooking, you know, FITM is the fashion industry. Like there's a lot of ways to get yourself educated.
Rhode Island design, RISD is always a great one too. So yeah,
whatever you all do, because when you guys are old enough to date, you're going to start to try to get distracted, and that's when the mom's backhands are going to be coming out even faster, right? I see them like because we were keeping those others away to make sure. So we want to keep you guys on the right track.
There's none of that. You got time for that when you're over 30.
Thank you. 30.
Poor Aaleyah, she's gonna go back to school tomorrow. She's like, these ladies were telling me not to get married till I was
30. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity out there for them. So
yes,
I'm here to make sure that they take advantage of that opportunity that's out there.
Yes, and we don't have all parents having that opportunity. We've got parents who are working 2 and 3 jobs and they don't have that opportunity. So thank you, Christine, for being there. Thank you, Britani, for being there. My mom worked 2 jobs. You know, Cindi didn't have that background. I left high school just really happy. I had an 8-hour, 40-hour week job and didn't go back to college until I was 42 years old. So do it now, young people. Do it now. These moms are here for you. That's your rock right now and forever. That's your rock, your ride or die. So that's what you need. Look, Christine's like, are you listening to her? I can see.
He lets me know all the time. He lets me know all the time, and I reiterate it to him all the time as well.
It's don't worry, Alphonso. I did the same thing. I had all boys. I did the same thing to my 2 boys. I am right here for you. I have my last one. He's graduating from Boise State in May, going on to get his master's degree to be a physical therapist. So you got this. Remember, you got this, and you got your ride or die right next to you. So remember that, young people. These are the people that are most important in your life, and they're going to lead the way. Sometimes you're not going to like it. Suck it up. We didn't like it either, but suck it up.
You know, just in our last minute, I want to give some recognition out. First off, I want to thank both Aaleyah and Alphonso for coming on with us tonight and spending an hour with us and talking to our community. We will be promoting the show so that people can hear this message broader. To both Christine and Britani as parents, thank you for coming on and talking and sharing your journey and your advocacy. Thank you for staying with us and advocating. I want to thank Rainier Valley Leadership Academy for its leadership work in our community, for helping our BIPOC students. I want to thank and recognize Washington Charter Schools for the work that they're doing to advance Brown and Black lives. And I want to thank Publicly Education Reform. The leaders, both Natalie Hester and Sherline Wilson, are doing great jobs in our community to advocate for Black students, to make sure that our kids get educated, because we have the right to have the life that everybody else has in this community.
Amen.
To our listeners, thank you for joining us tonight. Blessings to all of you, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week to continue a conversation about education. So have a good evening.
Merry Christmas, you all. Have a great holiday. Keep it up, kids. 5 colleges. 5.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo.